Morning. Good morning. Greetings, friends, and welcome to The Bright Side, your nutritional program dedicated to the understanding of the vast world of nutritional supplementation. I am your host, Pharmacist Ben, nutritional pharmacist from Boulder, Colorado. I specialize in using nutritional supplements where other healthcare practitioners use toxic pharmaceutical drugs and sometimes deadly medical procedures. If you suspect that there are natural nutritional roads to your vitality and health and well-being, and to addressing your health challenges, whatever they may be, but you don't know where to begin, you have come to the right place. As you listen to The Bright Side every day, you are more and more in control of your body, you are more and more knowledgeable, and you know you can overcome any health issue. That's why we're here every day on The Bright Side, helping clear up the sometimes confusing world of nutrition and nutritional supplementation. Over the last 29 years of practicing pharmacy, I've seen drug-free recoveries from diabetes and hypertension and obesity and skin diseases like psoriasis, eczema, rosacea, acne, digestive ailments, autoimmune issues of all kinds. Recoveries that by the standards of modern medicine can only be called a miracle. But what is in the world of the body, what is in the world of biology, standard operating procedure. Because the human biological system, the human body, is a healing system. It's a regenerating system. It is designed divinely to heal and renew itself on a moment-to-moment basis. And while some folks may call that a miracle, it really is just the way the body works. If you, a loved one, a workmate, are dealing with a health challenge, if you want to wean yourself off your meds and get on a good nutritional supplement program, we can help you do that. If you have questions about your medication, about nutritional supplements, about a health challenge you're dealing with or a loved one's dealing with, we can help you. 844-236-6010 is our number. If you have a success story you'd like to share, you want to contribute to the conversation, 844-236-6010 is our number. If you have questions about ingredients, formulations, skin health products, skin health questions, anything you may have heard about or read about in the newspaper, on the radio, or on TV, we can help you, 844-236-6010. If you have questions, 844-236-6010, and we do have lines open for you. Try to call in early if you can. If you want to purchase any of the longevity products you hear advertised on the program, you can head over to my website, brightsideben.com, or check out my blog, pharmacistben.com, or criticalhealthnews.com. You can order products right off the website, and you can sign up to join the Brightside Ben team right off the website as well, or you can call the phone team at 866-735-2470, 866-735-2470. And, of course, if you want to purchase any of our Truth Treatment skin health products, including our 5% retinol gel, omega-6 healing cream, or our vitamin C loaded Truth Serum and Truth Balm, head to truthtreatments.com, truthtreatments.com. You can also check out our skin health blog that we do at truthtreatments.com. Also, my Facebook page, The Truth with Ben. You can hit the like button and get updated and receive all our updates, which we do somewhat regularly. Okay, we're talking fats, fatty vitamins, and the skin. Specifically, we left off talking yesterday about one of my all-time favorite vitamins, vitamin E, an all-around fat-protecting nutrient. We said it's not going to cure psoriasis, but because your skin is particularly, everything in the body is dependent on fats, but the skin is especially dependent on fats for growth. And the skin is constantly growing, so it's really dependent on fats and fatty vitamins. And, of course, vitamin E is an essential substance like air and like water. It's a must-have nutrient. Whether you got psoriasis or eczema or acne or any other skin condition, you definitely want to be including vitamin E in your supplement regimen. You're not going to find this one in foods. It's very difficult to get adequate amounts of vitamin E in foods. It's next to impossible to get adequate amounts of vitamin E in foods. That's why supplementing is so important. And given the fact that this stuff is so ridiculously inexpensive, even the more expensive varieties, which we'll talk about here in the coming days, the so-called mixed forms of vitamin E, which are really the ways you want to go. Alpha, the one most of us have heard of, the alpha form or alpha tocopherol form. That's good, and you'll get benefits from that one. That's probably the main form. But it's nice, if you're going to be supplementing with vitamin D, it's nice to have the full spectrum of all the forms of vitamin D, of which there are 8, and we will be discussing that in the coming days. Vitamin E is tremendously anti-aging, one of the best anti-aging, anti-skin, well, anti-everything aging, but especially anti-skin aging. It's got sun protection benefits. Vitamin E is a sun protectant. I know we talk about this a lot, but it's so important. The way our skin is designed to be protected from the sun is not by smearing on a sunscreen. And make no mistake about it, no matter what you hear from your doctor or companies or the government for that matter, sunscreens are toxic chemicals. They kill cells. And yes, I know you don't want to burn, and if you don't have an option, maybe you have to use a sunscreen, maybe. Of course, sunblocks are much more effective. Zinc oxide, they get everything. They cover all the solar rays. Sunscreens don't cover all the solar rays. They just cover the rays that cause burning, and sometimes the super toxic ones will screen out some of the aging rays. But nonetheless, they're toxic chemicals. On the other hand, vitamin E protects your skin in a antioxidant fashion. It actually neutralizes sun energy. It doesn't screen it. It doesn't block it. It neutralizes it. And it does it in a natural, non-toxic fashion, internally as well as externally. And that makes vitamin E, by the way, really helpful for eye health, too. Most eye vitamins will contain vitamin E. Anything that protects your skin, any nutrient that protects your skin from burning, whether we're talking vitamin E, or whether we're talking vitamin C, or whether we're talking zinc, or whether we're talking carotenes like lutein and xanthine, these pigments that are found in vegetables, all of those nutrients will protect your skin, and they'll also protect your eyes. Your eyes are a type of skin. And so anything that protects your skin, any nutrient that protects your skin from burning or from aging or from damage from the sun will also protect your eyes, and vitamin E is no different. Vitamin E's got anti-aging benefits for your skin, anti-aging benefits for your eyes. If you're dealing or don't want to deal with macular degeneration, or if you have macular degeneration, using vitamin E is an effective strategy. Vitamin E protects all the fats in the bodies, particularly the outside part of cells, the membrane. It also protects the fats in the skin. Your skin is loaded with fats, and these fats, things like cholesterol and essential fatty acids, these fats help keep the skin moist, help keep the skin soft, and these fats are readily damaged by the sun. Well, vitamin E protects them. If you're living in Florida, you're living in a place where there's lots of sun and you're always out in the sun, I'm telling you, there is no better vitamin to supplement with than vitamin E. And because, as we said yesterday or the day before, vitamin E doesn't really participate in chemical reactions. It's more like a protectant vitamin. You don't really have to worry about taking high doses of vitamin E. You're not going to throw off balances necessarily with high doses of vitamin E. So you can take 800 IU of vitamin E, which is my God, it's like, let's see, 40 times more than maybe 50 times the recommended daily allowance. You can take these high doses, which is unusual for a fat-soluble vitamin which is stored. Now, you don't want to go crazy with it, but 400 IU to 800 IU is, I would stick to 400 IU, maybe 800 IU if you're going out in the sun a lot, or you're afraid of burning, or you have a tendency to burn. One thing that vitamin E is not going to do is eliminate scars. This is a myth. I don't know how this myth got out there, but it's out there. People think they could put vitamin E on their scars. I guarantee there's somebody out there listening, probably a lot of you, who thinks you could, who may even be putting on vitamin E oil on a scar thinking it's going to go away. It won't. You're not going to improve. You're not going to reduce. You're not going to eliminate. You're not going to in any way change a scar. That's the definition of a scar. It's permanent. And this is something I hear about all the time because we don't like our scars. For some reason, we look at our scars as a bad thing. Now, not all cultures do. There's actually northern African tribes and indigenous cultures in Australia and New Guinea that think it's a great thing to have scars, and they'll intentionally scar themselves. There are warriors who consider it a sign that they're battle hardened if they have scars. So it's not like it's a universal dislike or revulsion. It is in our culture to not like scarring. Unfortunately, the body likes scars. And by that I mean a scar is an extra form of protection. A scar is one of the ways the body protects itself. We may not like our scarring, but our bodies like our scarring. And by the way, there's predatory companies out there that will have no problem exploiting and taking advantage of our anti-scar sentiments. So if you're purchasing any cream or you've seen a commercial for a cream that even remotely tells you, they won't really because they know, but if they imply that their product's going to make a difference in your scarring, it's not true. All right, we'll continue when we come back from our break. I'm Pharmacist Ben. Thanks for listening to The Bright Side. We'll be back.
Thank you for listening to GCN. Visit GCNlive.com today.
Okay, we are back on the bright side. I'm Pharmacist Ben. Thanks for joining us. We're on the air Monday through Friday, 8 to 9 Pacific and 10 to 11 Central Time, 24/7 on our archive page at brightsideben.com. You get we've got lots of health information, 4+ years of archives, plus you can purchase longevity products right off the website, brightsideben.com, and you can search. You can also go to benfuchsarchives.com to search, and you can sign up to join the Brightside Ben team right off the website as well. brightsideben.com, also pharmacistben.com, and criticalhealthnews.com. If you're interested in checking out our Truth Treatment products, go to truthtreatments.com. truthtreatments.com. Okay, so continuing on, talking about the skin and fats. A lot of folks have this idea, and I'm not sure where it came from, that you could put vitamin E on top of a scar and it'll go away. Not true. You can't do anything to a scar once it's there. They're permanent, and that's a good thing. A scar is the body's attempt to reinforce an area that it considers vulnerable. That's a good thing. We may not like the way a scar looks, but our body's concern is not our cosmetic appearance. It's its strength and resilience and its ability to survive. And a scar is pro-survival. A scar helps us survive. It's adaptive. It represents a way that the body strengthens a potentially vulnerable area. And by potentially vulnerable, an area that it has demonstrated vulnerability. In the same way that a bone will heal stronger at the point of the break. How cool is that? That the body doesn't just recover, it recovers better. This is why I say all degenerative diseases are reversible. All of them with a capital A. Everything, because it's in the body's nature, not just to heal, not just to reverse degeneration or breakdown, not just to regenerate, but to regenerate better. That is amazing. The body is an intelligent system. It's a smart system. Computer technologists and information technologists, people who work with computer chips and programming and software, are fascinated with the idea of self-repairing tissue. Self-repairing stuff. Now, they can't do biological tissue, but they're working on self-repairing clothes, self-repairing tires, self-repairing textiles, things that repair themselves that are smart. And there already are tires, I think, that do that are smart enough to know when there's a weakness, and they'll patch them up. They'll have some kind of intelligence built into the rubber. Well, the body does that. The skin does that. The bone does that. Not only does it self-repair, though, it self-repairs better. A scar is the testimony of the body's ability to heal and repair itself. It's like your best friend, a scar. We don't like them cosmetically, and there are companies that will take advantage of that, and there's nothing any company, any skincare product can do to eliminate a scar or prevent a scar or reverse a scar. Now, prevention, that's a little different. And you can do things to prevent your scarring. That's the way you want to do it. But once a scar is there, it's there. And if there are products out there. They call them scar creams. They don't work. Save your money. There's nothing they could do because, like I say, a scar is a good thing. It's the way the body is protecting itself. And you'll note that when you see advertisements or read advertisements, or now they're on TV, for scar creams like Mederma, that's the most famous one. Mederma is the one that's marketed in dermatology magazines to dermatologists and trade journals and their patients. And when you're sitting in the dermatologist waiting room and you're picking up, you're reading a journal that's sitting on the coffee table there, chances are pretty good you're going to see an ad for Mederma. It's probably the most famous one. But you'll notice that they never say in the advertisement, they'll never say, makes your scar go away or anything like that. They can't, because it doesn't. What they'll say is things like amazing results, or they may say thousands have seen the difference, or sometimes they'll say softens a scar or smooths a scar. I don't know what that means, softens a scar or smooths a scar. What the heck is that about? You want your scar soft and smooth? Those are called weasel words, by the way, in the skincare business and in the marketing business and in the skincare marketing business. They're weasel words. And skincare is filled with weasel words because the government regulates what skincare products can say and skincare companies can say about their products. They can't say that they'll make your wrinkles go away. That's a prescription. So they'll use weasel words, improves the appearance of wrinkles. These are weasel words, and not necessarily, I'm not putting anybody down for doing that, but you just got to read carefully. The government makes these companies do that. They're not allowed to say anything different. So Mederma and other scar companies, they're not going to say it reverses scars or eliminates scars because they can't. They'll soften the scar if you want that, or they'll smooth the scar, but they're not going to be able to reduce its appearance in any way. And it's not very nice for a company to take advantage of somebody who wants to get rid of a scar like that. It's not fair. If you don't want a scar after you get a burn, if you burn yourself or cut yourself or wound yourself and you don't want to get a scar, there are strategies you can use. And guess what? They're nutritional. You can accelerate and improve the production of healing tissue, healing fibers, and healing cells by using nutrition. And that's really what you want to be doing. If you don't want a scar after you have surgery, and surgery is another place where scarring occurs, obviously, and it's another place where you can prevent scars. If you don't want to have a scar after you have knee surgery or back surgery, or you have something removed out of your body, or if you don't want to have a scar if you burn yourself or cut yourself, what you want to do is you want to load up with nutrition. In the case of surgery, you want to do it a couple of weeks before, 3 weeks before, 4 weeks before. As soon as that scalpel goes into your skin, that's when the healing process actually begins. As soon as the cut is made, healing chemistry begins. And you want to have lots of nutrients in the blood and lots of nutrients local to the area so that the healing process will be facilitated. So the essential nutrients that will facilitate, actuate, or activate healing are there. So before surgery, if you know you're going to have it, a couple weeks, 3 weeks, 4 weeks, start a mega dose nutritional program. That's my strategy. That's my opinion. Load up on nutrients. And not just internally, but also externally. If you know you're going to be wounded, that is, if you know you're going to have surgery, start using fatty nutrition a month before, 3 weeks before, somewhere between 2 and 4 weeks before. Start using your fatty nutrition. If you're not on a supplement program, get on one. If you are on a supplement program, up your dose. EFAs. EFAs are phenomenally important for the healing process, as we've been talking about now for months. High doses of vitamin C can help. Amino acids for building collagen. If you know you're going to go have surgery, make sure you're getting your whey protein a couple weeks before. Make sure you're using your bone soup a couple of weeks before. Make sure you're using your glucogel caps a couple of weeks before. High doses of the glucogel caps. And not just before, but also after. Pre and post surgery, but especially pre. We tend to underestimate the importance of using nutritional supplements pre-surgery. Amino acids, non-collagen amino acids, arginine. Arginine is phenomenally important for healing, for burns. Wonderful amino acid. It's super amino acid. We talked about arginine a lot a few months ago. I love this stuff. What makes an amino acid powerful is a little tiny chunk of nitrogen. Nitrogen is like TNT, explosive. TNT is trinitro, TN. It's got 3 nitrogens. Nitrogen is the workhorse. Nitrogen is explosive, not literally, but it's part of the explosive process along with oxygen. And arginine is super amino acid because it has 4 arginines. Mega important for healing. Also stimulates growth hormone too. Glutamine is another amino acid that's important for healing. EFAs, as I said, get on your ultimate EFAs. A couple other really neat supplements that can also help you prevent scars and accelerate the healing process. I'll tell you what those are when we come back from our break. And get to your phone calls as well. 844-236-6010 is our number. We'll be back on the bright side right after this. Okay, we are back on the bright side. We'll get your calls here just a moment. Hang tight. And if you want to reach us, we do have a line open at 844-236-6010. So let's see what I want to tell you here. If you want to join the Brightside Ben team, if you want to start a longevity business, please call the Brightside Ben phone team at 866-735-2470. And if you want to purchase any of our skin health products, and by the way, if you're going to have surgery and you're looking for a source of vitamin C in a topical product, use our omega-6 healing cream. In fact, I developed omega-6 healing cream to be a healing cream, a post-surgical healing cream. And it's quite effective pre- and post-surgery. You can find out about that at truthtreatments.com. Likewise, our retinol product, which is also an effective pre-surgical topical product, even though doctors don't necessarily like retinol pre-surgically. Actually, sometimes doctors will complain about stretch marks in retinol. There's an interesting relationship between topical retinol and stretch marks, and we'll tell you about that tomorrow. And then we'll also continue talking about healing the skin pre-surgery and post-surgery using internal nutrition. We'll do that tomorrow as we continue talking skin health, nutrients, fatty nutrients, and topical strategies on the bright side. Okay, 844-236-6010. Let us go off to Steve in Texas. Welcome to the bright side. Good morning. What's up, Steve?
Oh, hey, how are you doing? Big fan.
Thank you.
Yeah, I had a success story first I wanted to talk about really quick.
Awesome.
I had stage 4 colon cancer spread to my liver and my lung, and they wanted to put me on the chemo. I refused it, and I actually healed my own cancer with the grace of God.
Praise God.
Laetrile.
With Laetrile.
Laetrile alone, and pretty much alkalining my blood, lemon juice and 35% hydrogen peroxide. But besides
Steve.
that, the reason I called is because
Well, no, hang on. No. Steve, that's awesome. Don't underestimate that. I want everybody to hear that. You know how many people that, first of all, all cancer is miserable. And if you don't have cancer, just praise the Lord you don't have cancer. And that's it. Every morning you wake up, praise God you don't, especially colon cancer, number 1 or number 3 killer and moving rapidly. I think number 2 or number 3 cancer killer that there is. But awful. Obviously, if you have colon problem, you're not going to be absorbing your nutrients. But what I want everybody to hear, Steve, this is why this is so important. If Steve can do it, anybody can do it. The body's capable of it. Yes.
I literally prayed to God, and I found this natural cure, and I have found many natural cures for cancer since. Iscador, SEAC, and many, many other things that I have actually used and given to other people, and they have cured themselves.
That's awesome.
So I want people to know there is much more than chemo. I go on shows all the time. I go on
that's
radio
awesome.
talk shows.
That's awesome. If you get a minute, I'd love it if you'd send me an email and put your phone number in there. I'd love to talk to you because we can help a lot of people. Okay, good, Steve.
The only reason I called is because I have MS, and I'm trying to heal it.
Okay, good. Well, that's not a problem. You've already done the hard work. This is not even going to be a problem. MS is, as you know, an immune disease. It's an autoimmune disease where the body attacks itself. In the case, there's 100 plus autoimmune diseases where the body attacks the bone, or the body attacks the skin, or the body attacks the nerve cells, or the body attacks the muscles. It's a bodily attack on itself. Whenever the body is attacking something, it's for some reason perceiving that something as the enemy. Maybe your thyroid, but it looks to the immune system as the enemy. And this occurs for a couple of reasons. Number 1, it occurs because there is something getting into the body that shouldn't be, and that means food, most especially protein foods. So number 1, first and foremost, you want to look at, you want to make sure that you're doing a food diary and eliminating problem foods. Nobody has MS without a digestive issue associated with it. Nobody. They go together.
Well, I want to say one thing really, really quick. I had a tuberculosis vaccine test.
That's the second part. 8
days later, I couldn't walk.
That's the damage part. That's the damage part. See, there's two things I said. Hang on, let me just finish this. There's two things. Number 1, something is getting into the blood that's initiating an immune attack, and that immune attack is cross-reacting with your nerves. Food looks like the body. So when the immune cell, which is the immune system, which is intelligent, recognizes something that may be a piece of food, that piece of food looks sometimes like a part of your body, because from a molecular standpoint, they look the same. They're just amino acids. So there's a cross-reaction that occurs. The second thing that sometimes can happen is damage, and that's what you're talking about here. When you have mercury or you have some kind of toxin that's been injected into the blood, and I always say how food is the main way things get into the blood, but vaccines are another way. And IV drug users, that's another way things get into the blood. So yes, it may be involved as well. If you suspect that that's the case, Steve, you got to get that out of your system using chelation therapy. Anything you have been doing. Has it been helping?
EDTA.
Yeah.
I believe it has been helping.
That's
but
awesome.
I think I'm a little too late. I only started it this year.
Never too late. How old are you, by the way?
I am 43. I have MS for 6 years.
Not too late. I'm still thinking foods, my friend. I'm still thinking food. So I want you to do a food diary, keeping track of all your digestive issues and linking them to foods. You can also link your flare-ups in the MS when the flare-ups get worse. Flare-ups are your best friend, Steve. If everything stays the same, you can't really assess the relationship between what you're doing and your symptoms. But when you get flare-ups, then you can link them. So look for flare-ups, especially as they relate to foods, and then start to eliminate foods, and then do everything you could do to support digestive health. By the way, good bacteria, probiotics, are chelating. They'll improve chelation. So make sure you pound them.
Digestive enzymes.
Citric acid. Do you know about citric acid? Have they told you about citrates? Citrates. Look into citrates.
Citric acid I actually used while I was on cancer to alkaline my blood.
Well, that's not going to alkaline your blood, but citrates, I think you mean citrates will. And citrates also have a chelating property, so get on those. Anything you do to chelate. Sounds like you're doing great, though. I'd throw in some N-acetylcysteine, a NAC, if you're not already. I would make sure I'm mixing it in with vitamin E. NAC and vitamin E go together, as does selenium. Get on the ultimate selenium. It's probably good. Use mucilaginous substances, algae, planktons. They're also chelating, and they'll also soothe the digestive system. So make sure you're using your Fucoid Z. And then, let's see what other key. Oh, vitamin C. Oh, dude, high doses of vitamin C.
And I eat a lot of oranges.
Well, more than that. More than that. I'd be injecting it if I could, but certainly doing high doses orally. And then read Terry Wall's book. She's got some basic information about. You probably
EFAs. She says EFAs, ubiquinol, and
ubiquinol. That's good. Coenzyme Q10.
Creatine.
What's the other one?
Creatine.
Creatine, she says too.
Yeah, all three of those.
I didn't know that.
All greens, all kinds of greens in your diet. I eat tons of those.
Good deal. Congratulations,
Steve. For like a year.
You're doing awesome, man. Would you please send me an email with your phone number? I want to get in touch with you, okay?
Absolutely. Your email?
It's Ben, B-E-N, at K for King, S for Sam, C for Cat, O for Oscar.com. Ben at KSCO.com.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. God bless you, man. And congratulations.
God bless you,
that's awesome, Steve. Awesome. I love that. If you have a success story, please share it because you're going to help a lot of people. Think about somebody who's dealing with colon cancer now. And this is a guy who had stage 4 colon cancer and healed himself. All right? And so now think about if you have a success story like this and somebody else has that same condition, think what you're going to do for them. Please don't hold back on the success stories. And I know they're out there because I talked to you guys on the phone. Terry in Texas, what's up, buddy? How you doing? Or ma'am?
Hi, good morning.
Hey, what's up, Terry?
Yeah, I was just curious about celiacs. My daughter is 21, and she was born with that. We don't know where it came from.
It's easy. It doesn't matter where it came from, but it's easy to reverse and eliminate. So hang tight, okay? We got to take a break, Terry, and we'll come back and we'll talk about celiac, and we'll take your questions as well if you're on hold, and if you're not on hold, you can give us a shout. We do have lines open at 844-236-6010. I'm Pharmacist Ben. You're listening to The Bright Side. We'll be back after this. Okay, we are back on The Bright Side. I'm Pharmacist Ben, and we're talking to... We're talking to Steve, I think. Or Terry. Hey, Terry, what's up, man? You there? Okay. So celiac disease is a eating disease. It's a food disease. It's a reaction. Right. It's caused by a reaction. You probably heard about gluten and gluten intolerance and all that, but it's more than just gluten, and you don't want to focus on gluten. You want to include gluten. I don't like the focus on gluten because it misleads us into thinking that, it didn't work because we get on our gluten-free diet and we still feel bad, and we don't realize that there's other things that do it. Plants, I know I said this a lot, I'll say it again, plants don't want to be eaten. So they have evolved defensive mechanisms that punish the foolish animal, including us, that would dare eat the grain or dare eat the seed. And our punishment is called celiac. You follow me? It's a way plants defend themselves. So what you got to do is you got to look for problem foods and eliminate them, period. It's as simple as that. Now, at the same time, you want to strengthen and reinforce the digestive tract's ability to do its business. And that means probiotics, number one, good bacteria. In fact, good bacteria alone will make a significant difference for most celiac patients. So you're going to eliminate problem foods, find out what the problem foods are, then eliminate them, and then start pounding in the probiotics and the fermented foods. In a way, fermented foods are even more important than probiotics because you're getting fiber and other nutrients in your fermented foods. So get a book called The Art of Fermentation, or there's another one called Wild Fermentation, or you can Google it, you can research it. Make your own fermented veggies, sauerkraut, miso, tempeh, your daughter, that is. And then you want to start to coat and soothe the digestive tract at the same time. The Fucoid Z from Youngevity, algae products, cartilage products, mallow, and the herb mallow, and also Colt's foot is another herb that has a soothing property on the digestive tract. Noni and aloe. Drinking aloe juice can be helpful. I would be doing vegetable juices, especially celery juice, cucumber juice. Vegetables provide nitrites and nitrates for the intestine to keep the intestine in a condition where bacteria can thrive. Bacteria, it's really, in many ways, celiac is a bacterial issue, as all digestive health issues are. And then, of course, a good nutritional supplement program is also vital, just the Healthy Start Pack and the Mighty 90, and the EFAs can be really important. And zinc 50 milligrams. I would throw in some zinc picolinate 50 milligrams a day, a very underappreciated digestive system mineral. And zinc deficiencies are very common, especially if you're dealing with intestinal problems. So it's real easy to do, Terry. Really, really easy. If she just fasts for a couple of days, she's going to feel better. All right, I got to move on. I got a bunch of calls here. Thanks for your call, man. Have a beautiful day. Okay, let's go to Mr. X. Mr. X. I'm going to call you Dr. X because you are a very bright man, Mr. X. Do we have Mr. X?
Well, I love you. I've expressed that many times. You got me on longevity. I thought I was healthy till I got your stuff, so I don't want to go too far in praise of you because I've called to dispute something you say. I hate it, but you said it 3 or 4 times.
Okay.
And it's the issue of scars not disappearing. I have scars from 7 years old to 50 years old and many in between that for at least all practical purposes are gone. You can't find them. I put on some magnifying glasses and found.
How do you know it was a scar? Tell me how you're defining it as a scar.
Okay, well, one of my older ones was a deep gash with a tin can when I was 14. Had stitches, left them in too long. It would have. This was beautiful to me. Again, 14-year-old kid. A big raised scar where you could see the stitches and pinholes for the stitches. Can't find it anymore.
How did you do it? What did you do? Do you know what you did? Nothing. You just went by.
All right. Here's the thing. When I was that old, I had a terrible nutritional deficiency. That scar didn't go away. You're right. It didn't go away when I was unhealthy. When I had lymph nodes all over my body, when my teeth were rotting out. All those things were happening for various reasons when I was young.
How many years did you have, Mr. X? How many years did you have the scar before it went away?
When it disappeared, but I had it all way into adulthood.
It was like years, though. It was a matter of years. It was a matter of years. Decades. Okay. And then the scar went away. Okay.
It was a heavy scar. It was raised damn near a quarter inch. But as I began to change my diet, things like that changed. My entire skin changed. People are telling me, "Wow, your skin's crazy." They don't realize I had patches that looked like a reptile on my forehead. But,
well, that doesn't fall into line with what a scar really is, but I'm not going to dispute your experience, and that's good to know. I had never seen that or heard that before.
Yeah, I stopped a pit bull attack about 5 or 6 years ago. I did not have to have stitches on any of these, but they were pretty good gashes in my arms. Those, like I said, I can still find them with reading glasses. Stretch marks, again, you've said they don't go away. I went up to 260 pounds. Believe me, I had some stretch marks. Again, if you look so close with magnification, you may be able to determine it. Nobody normally would determine that I had any stretch marks. I just wanted to say that.
I appreciate you saying that. I'd never seen that before or heard that before. But if one person can do it, anybody can do it. And Mr. X, you are a smart guy. So
you can do a whole lot of things. Just like I want to say one thing about the guy with the cancer. Yeah. What he said is very important. You pray, you ask, you listen, and then you do because you get the answers. Your answers will come, but nobody listens. And then when they even listen, they don't do.
I love it. I love it. And there's communication always occurring. If you're listening, there's always communication occurring everywhere, from the body, from your experiences, from your thoughts, from the universe, everywhere. And listening is the key. You're absolutely right, Mr. X. Hey, you're awesome. Thank you so much. Have a beautiful day, buddy. Thanks for your call. And I will take that under advisement. Mr. X says he healed his scars. He reversed his scars. And that is, I never heard that or seen that, but I take Mr. X very seriously. So we'll put that into the old mental filing cabinet. Thank you, Mr. X. Shane in North Carolina, what's up? How you doing?
Hey, I called several months ago. I think it was back in the spring, and I called in. I was talking about my mother being prescribed prednisone, and it was a pretty hefty dose. It was like 80 to 100 milligrams a day. Luckily, we managed to get her off of it. We all kind of worked together, and she ended up getting completely off of it. But she developed some digestive problems.
Okay.
So then like a year after being off prednisone, she went into the doctor. She's having diarrhea and just digestive problems. Well, they decided to go in and have a colonoscopy done.
Okay.
And this was just like last week or so.
What'd they find?
Well, they couldn't even finish the colonoscopy because she had holes in her colon. They took pictures of it and everything. Apparently, some of the holes were as large as like the size of $50, I was told. I haven't seen the picture.
That's exactly what happens. And I'm not saying it was caused by the prednisone, but certainly prednisone doesn't help. Prednisone shuts down building, and the colon needs to build. The intestine is the fastest moving, fastest growing, fastest dividing cells in the system are in the intestine, among the fastest anyway. And so the prednisone, by being cytotoxic, killing cells and shutting down their growth and repair, it makes perfect sense. I'm not saying that was the cause, but here's the deal. It's water under the bridge. There's stuff you could do. You got to start repairing that gut. The less she eats for a while, the better off she's going to be. And the less solid food she eats, the better off she's going to be. She does probably want to make sure she's getting her fiber. She has to be very vigilant. If she's got holes like that in her intestine, she's got to be very vigilant about putting anything into the system that activates immunity, because she's running high risks for a lot of ugly things with those kinds of perforations, those kinds of leaks into the blood, if you will. So she's got to be super duper careful, mega careful about what she eats. Get her on the Biolumin Nightly Essence ASAP as soon as possible. Fermented foods, all the same things we just talked about, the last couple of listeners. You're going to have to focus hard and long, or she's going to have to focus hard and long on everything she eats and on supporting digestive health. Also, because of the holes, because the breakdown in the intestinal lining, she's not absorbing. She's malnourished. So you get this downward spiral. Do you see what's happening? She's malnourished, and that's going to make the condition worse, which makes the malnourishment worse, which makes the condition worse. She's heading on a downward spiral, and probably she's in her 50s or 60s. That's not a good time to head in a downward spiral.
She's 75.
Okay, well, that's even worse. So she absolutely has to focus on her foods, making sure she's eating as little as possible, doing liquid nutrition, bone soup, and vegetable juices, as well as probiotics, Mighty 90 essential nutrients, and all the coating and soothing things that we talked about. I don't want to repeat myself all the time, but if you've listened to the last couple of callers, you know what the drill is, and you can always go back to the archive. God bless you, Shane, and I hope everything works out for your mom. I appreciate it. And I'm sorry if we left you on hold. Looks like we had some good calls here. I'd love it if you call back tomorrow, and we could take care of your questions and thoughts and your success stories and your comments as well. Thanks for listening to The Bright Side, friends. Please check out my website, brightsideben.com. Order longevity products or join the Brightside Ben team right off the website. Also, criticalhealthnews.com and pharmacistben.com. And then please check out truthtreatments.com. My Truth Treatments make a great Christmas present. Omega-6 healing cream, particularly all retinol 5% gel, Truth Serum, and Truth Balm. And then we also blog skincare topics on truthtreatments.com. Have yourselves a spectacular, beautiful day, my friends. We'll talk to you all later. Bye for now.